Y'all, what the fuck is going on? Welcome to My Favorite Lyrics, the podcast where we talk about music lyrics, except for when we talk about other stuff. And today we got a very special guest, somebody that I go very far back with and that I've known for some time, including when we went to go see that Zoe Kravitz movie together, Hanna Dickinson.
Hi, how are you? I never know how to be like, hello.
Yeah, I know. It's tough. Or like when you do those podcasts sometimes where it's like a team of people, where it's like two people and they do a whole intro before they introduce you and you're just sitting there being like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and you're like,
You're like, when do I hop in?
When do I hop in? I never know.
Well, welcome. You're in.
Okay, cool. Hi, how are you?
What's up, Hanna? Good to see you.
I know, it's good to see you.
Yeah. Wait, you host Dumois' podcast.
I produce it.
You produce Dumois' podcast.
Yeah.
What's happening on that?
What's happening this week?
Dumois, for those of y'all who don't know, because some people will, and some people will have no idea what we're talking about, because I think it's a very, like,
I know.
show businessy thing. But, like, I always associate Dumois with posting anonymous gossip about people that may or may not have happened.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think it's, whenever I meet a guy, like, if I go on a date and they're like, what do you do?
Yeah.
If I say Dumois, they're like, I don't know what that is. But it's for really just women, I guess, in their 30s.
Women and gay guys.
Women and gay guys.
Yeah. For somebody to be like, hey, like, I think I just saw Jesse from Breaking Bad at a restaurant. He was holding hands with a lady. Who knows who that is? Could have been Camila Cabello. That's the type of stuff that's on there.
Yeah, it's nothing salacious, anything that's could make someone in trouble. That's not. It's like very basic shit, harmless shit.
That's where what? Go ahead.
I was gonna say, but people still get so angry.
People get pissed off because something about because it's really hard to parse like what really happened in those and what didn't happen. You know what I'm saying?
And I think the point of her account is that it's so harmless and so doesn't matter that if it did or didn't actually happen, who gives a shit?
That's for those of y'all who are listening. This is where that's where that meme of like just saw Joe Biden in D.C. and then what was the response? A very likely place for him to be.
Yeah.
Do you remember
yes.
this?
Yes.
Because people post anonymous like gossip stuff. Somebody was like, just spotted Joe Biden in D.C. and everybody's like, yeah, no, that seems like where he'd be at.
Yeah,
he's the president. So
I know a lot of people, because they call in to ask questions, and half the time it's like, we have no idea. I don't know anything either, so she'll ask me to chime in, and I feel like I don't know anything. I don't know any celebrities anymore either, because everyone's a celebrity. That's the issue.
Totally. And
so people call in with a random name, and I'm like, I don't know who that is. There's
too many famous people now.
Everyone's famous.
Everybody is famous. We were truly just having this conversation off mic when we were talking about a song that you and I are gonna get into soon. But we were talking about the song, and I was like, "What year?" Or like, it came out in 2012, and I was like, "What year were you in like school when that came out?" And he was like, "Oh, I was in 7th grade," and I was like, "Ah." And I was just telling him, I was like, "Oh yeah, there comes a time where somehow like all of a sudden everybody's younger than you." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because I still go out and dance at bars and party.
Really?
Yeah, I'm single, so I'll still go to like Acme Basement. And I was talking to this guy, he's like, yeah, I just turned 25. And I'm like, oh my God.
Literally the conversation we were just having. And that, I feel like it really, what year do you think that starts? I think it's like 28. I think once you get 28, 29, all of a sudden every person you meet is now 5 years younger than you. That's when it felt like it happened to me. Because I remember meeting somebody when I was 28 that was like 23, and I remember talking to them and them kind of being like, hey, like, I was like, oh, I'm 28. They're like, I'm 23. And they're like, 28, that's okay. Like, they're like, that's all right. There's nothing, you're doing okay. And I was like, yeah, I don't need this from you.
I went out with a guy a week ago, and he was 2 years younger than me. And he was like, yeah, this is the first time I've ever been out with an older woman. I was like, okay, I'm going to jump off the bridge.
Yeah, sure. People really, you hit your late 20s, people start talking to you like you're a senior citizen. Like you can't drive at night. That's how people talk to you when you're 30.
No, I went to rehab on my 29th birthday.
Yeah.
And I came out a month later, and I felt like everyone was either married or engaged or having children, or they were 22 years old.
Yeah.
I was like, how long was I in there? Everyone's mature.
It happens. 29-year-olds, if you're listening, and we know that you are, just know we love and respect you. And if anything, being 30 is going to be awesome. That's what people don't tell you about being 30 is that it's kind of sick as hell.
You think?
I like my life in my 30s a lot more than I liked it in my 20s. Well, in certain respects.
I guess so. I like my life better now too. I just thought I would be more successful and married.
Yeah.
And have more going on. So even though my life is better than my 20s, it's just, I'm like, shit, I'm in my 30s. Like, I feel like I'm where I should be in my 20s.
I hear, at least like in those, like in the love respect.
What do you mean love?
Like.
Well, I mean career too. Yes, love and career. Yes. What else is there?
Fair enough. I'll say like it does. I just turned 35. I just have my
happy birthday.
Thank you so much. But it is like something about hitting that age specifically. I'm like, oh man, I really gotta I gotta start setting some shit up. You know what I mean? I'm like, I should own something in the next couple of years. As it stands, I don't really own anything except for not in any like real concrete sense. I'm like, I gotta start putting some money somewhere. I gotta really I gotta make some changes. I gotta make some shifts.
That's how I feel because I'm getting older, so it's like guys in finance date younger. So I'm like, okay, like if I don't marry a guy in finance, like I'm gonna really have to support myself, and so I really have to get this career going.
There's other guys who do other stuff.
Yes, but the life that I want.
It's provided by finance.
Yes.
I feel like Hannah, you and I used to talk about. I feel like we used to talk about dating all the time.
Of course, it's like all I talk about. I tried to get hobbies and it didn't work.
Sure. What would you say is your hobby right now? Do you feel like trying to find a finance?
Watching Candace Owens and Erica Kirk on YouTube, about Erica Kirk on YouTube.
What's Candace Owens talking about? Where's she at with it right now?
You haven't seen the takedown of Erica Kirk by Candace Owens?
No, I'm not familiar with this.
She's either completely schizophrenic or the smartest woman in the world. I cannot tell which one.
It happens like that a lot of times. That's kind of the Azalea Banks thing. That's kind of the Kanye thing where you're just like, I can't tell sometimes if you are like the craziest person I've ever heard or if you're like way more enlightened and the rest of us are like disconnected.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's she saying about?
She thinks Erica Kirk had Charlie Kirk killed.
Interesting.
Because Charlie Kirk didn't want to take money from Israel. So she wanted to take the money and take over Turning Point.
Fascinating. Where do you land on that?
Erica Kirk doesn't seem that smart to me.
Yeah, I would say the same.
But she does seem like a psychopath. Sure.
And I guess you don't have to be especially smart to get someone killed for monetary gain. It doesn't take a genius to operate in those lines.
And she did slip into his position pretty quick.
Is she doing that stuff now?
Yeah, she's going on tour.
And she's like debating like 18-year-olds?
She's not debating. She's mostly talking to people.
Uh-huh. She's like
I don't really watch her speeches, to be honest.
That's probably for the best.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I don't think there's no way she could debate like Charlie Kirk. There's just no way.
I mean, if nothing else, I do think he was really good at making kids look kind of silly.
I mean, if you want to win a debate, the best place to go is college.
You know what I'm saying? Like, You're talking to kids, they're fried all the time. If you would have debated me when I was fucking 18, I'm sure he would have got me a couple of times. It's because their brain's not fully formed.
True. But I do think, even though his points were very sexist and racist,
of course,
he would have beat me in an argument.
Of course. Like I said, but that's the shit. Those are the scariest guys. The scariest guys are ones who like are good public speakers, but have like nasty, ugly, like regressive like messaging. And I feel like that was very much his deal. And that's why he was like so effective. Because like he spoke with an authority that made you feel like you were supposed to, like he was right, even when he was saying the wrongest things in the world.
Yeah. And the thing is, he really believed what he was saying, and I think that's the difference between him and the Republican administration. Is like, I don't think they believe anything they're saying, where I actually think he believed what he was saying. So it felt more like it's easier to believe if they believe it.
Exactly. If you have some of those beliefs and you see somebody who has like that level of conviction and is like a good public speaker, like saying those things, and you're like, yeah.
You make a good point.
You know what I mean? I feel like you and I might have talked about this at one point, but I do feel like at certain stages of my life, I feel like a cult could have got me if they had the right message.
100%. I think a cult could still get me at this point.
Present day. Hey, cult leaders, if you're listening, and we know that you are, come scoop up Hanna. She's gettable right now.
I am. I didn't fall for MAGA, but
good.
yeah.
And you're from Virginia, so they could have got you.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I like guys who look like they're in MAGA.
You do. You really do. And I feel like this is something we would come back to oftentimes, which I would be like, Hanna, it doesn't have to be that for you. It doesn't have to be Patagonia vest.
I know.
You could go into other realms of society.
Trust me, I've tried.
And what does that look like for you?
It's like I'm weird.
Sure.
For sure.
Especially to a finance guy.
Exactly. I'm like weird to a finance guy, so I try to, go for a guy who is in marketing.
Sure. That's still corporate.
And they're just still douchey, but like don't have a dishwasher.
Interesting. And the dishwasher's that's a big feature for you. If you at a man's house and you hand washing, y'all gonna run into some issues.
Yeah, you're not gonna be a dick to me and then make me wash the dishes by hand.
I see. Okay. Well, if you're listening and you're looking around your apartment being like, can I bag Hanna? Go into that kitchen. Go ahead and look next to the sink. Go to the sink and then look down and to the left and then tell me what you see. If it's just some cabinets, it's a wrap for you.
Not totally. Not necessarily, but
Interesting.
Let's not rule people out, okay?
It seems like you've done it. It seems like nobody in marketing.
I guess I'm like literally talking about one specific guy.
Sure.
Who didn't want to hang out with me anymore. So I was like, whatever. He doesn't have a dishwasher.
Yeah. I remember in college, like breaking up with my on again, off again college girlfriend, and she and her friend were like writing on their Facebooks about like no more guys with gap teeth, and yeah, I got that. They were doing it pretty publicly in a time when like Facebook was really like the place to be. And they were like, let's go find a guy like who got braces with, like they were really like
going in on you,
kind of frying me. And I wonder, I know this ex-girlfriend of mine from college does listen to this from time to time. If you're listening, tell me that you heard this. We'll see if this gets back to her. She definitely does.
But you still talk to her, clearly.
We're cool. She came to New York last year. We had dinner, but she's like married with a family now. She fully has like 2 children, and yeah.
So you got past it then?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm not hung up on her anymore, as far as I know. Yeah.
That's crazy. I guess I would probably do shit like that. I can't think of anything specifically, but
at some point, you hit somebody with something, some like coded language, some like you was subtweeting some people at some points.
Yeah, I've definitely, yeah.
I'd say you subtweeted actually quite a bit.
Yeah, but never that specific.
Sure. It's all, you want like the air of deniability. You want like a plausible, like, that could have been, there's a lot of guys who don't have dishwashers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Especially in New York.
Yeah, well, that's very true. Yeah.
Especially that work in marketing.
Hanna, you and I actually have a long history. You and I have known each other, not like that. I understand how that sounds when I say it.
Yeah.
It's not, we don't have that kind of history, but we do, because I never worked in finance, so it couldn't have worked like that between Hanna and I. If anything, isn't it fucked up in comedy when you like start thinking that you're making some money and then you realize like an entry level like financial person probably makes more than you. Like I was fully on television and I would see like how much money I made and I was like, yeah, this is like good for a comedian, but like for like a money person, they'd be like really upset if they had the amount of money that I have.
It's tragic.
It's devastating when you realize like the top of comedy is like mid-tier in a lot of other careers. If I just would have been like a software engineer, I could have been making SNL money when I was like 24.
My friend works at UBS and it's just like she asked if I wanted to go to Mexico with her.
Yeah.
And she sent me the hotel. And it was $2,500 a night. And she was like, I know this is kind of expensive, but if we split it and only did 3 nights, we could make it work. I was like, we could not.
We could spend $8,000 if we planned it right. Then it wouldn't be so bad.
And it's just incredible the way, I mean, her apartment's incredible. It's just funny when someone's like, oh, that's not bad, $400. And you're like, uh-huh. you know, and she's 2 years younger than me.
Like I said, you hit a certain stage and somehow all of a sudden nobody's younger or nobody's older than you anymore.
It's just, yeah, I wish I don't know if I could have been in finance.
Probably.
Probably,
I don't think
right?
it's as hard as they want you to believe that it is. I feel like, I mean, you've really been around in this community. I've met like a decent amount of finance guys and I'm like, you're not smarter than me. You're not actually smarter than me. You just studied this specific thing. But I think if we like really wanted to, I think we could. Let's do it. Should we get MBAs?
I thought about going to business school.
Really?
I was unemployed for 2 years.
That's a phase.
And I was like, I have to go to business school. So I started studying for the GMAT.
Oh.
I was really in it.
How long did you study for the GMAT? Did you ever take it?
No, I never took it. I took a couple practices.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm doing this because I'm scared I'm not going to be a comedian, not because I want to shift careers. I'm scared of failure of something else, not because I want to do this.
I think that's the reason why a lot of people do a lot of stuff.
I know, but
That's definitely why I went to grad school.
you did go to grad school?
I went to grad school, but I went to grad school like right out of college.
What did you go to grad school for?
I don't even know if we talked about this in the pod. I basically went to grad school to be like a management consultant. We like took all these classes that were like, this is like the people side of business, and we're like, this is how you like turn an organization around if they need to change. I have a master's degree.
You have to go to school for that?
Yeah, you do. And I did it, and I'm in quite a bit of debt because of it actually. And I didn't do it ever once. I went to school for 2 years. I have that degree. It's
So
on
when
my-
did you get out of that school?
Like, how old was I?
Yeah.
Like 25.
And then you started comedy.
I started comedy while I was in the program. I started comedy when I was like, my first open mic I did was probably maybe 6 months or 6 weeks into doing this program. And then I stopped for a little bit because I was like, I'm in grad school. Like, I got to focus. I had a girlfriend at that time. And then she moved away. And right when she moved away, I was like, I got to start doing stand-up again. And then, yeah, that was like midway through the program. And then I kind of never stopped. Probably midway through the program, I was like, oh, I don't think I'm not going to do this. But at that point, I had sunk so much time into it that I was like, I might as well finish.
Yeah.
So I finished it. And then as soon as that ended, I just like really dove into comedy for real.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I have a master's degree. It was pretty pointless ultimately.
But I bet people in your program were like, this guy's on SNL now.
Yeah, they do think it's cool, but they also, I bet, own homes and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So it's like, you know, you just gotta wait. They probably like have homes and like families, kids that love them and stuff like that. So
I know my brother went
we all go down
into
different paths.
my brother my parents had franchises of this business, of cleaning business.
Okay, that's a good market.
I know.
Good
And my
business
brother went into it, got his own franchise, went that direction.
He's probably doing pretty well.
Doing great. Doing great.
That is the most bummer thing about this like business is you realize like everything in our industry is like you have to like piece like 6 different things together to like live good. You know what I'm saying? You have to be like, all right, so I got this. Okay, so I'm gonna go on tour, and then I make a little bit of money from the podcast, and then hopefully like I get an acting deal, and then like I get a commercial, and then you chain all that stuff together, and you're like, okay, I had one good year. And then the next year you got to do that again, and then you got to try to do that for like 20 years to like make a life. And most people just kind of get like 1 or 2 jobs and then have that and then their life is kind of laid out.
It's crazy. I heard a tax commercial, like a commercial for taxes.
Yeah.
And it was just voiceover, and it was Adam Scott doing the voiceover.
Yeah, of course.
And I was like, oh my God, it doesn't get better.
It doesn't. Emma Stone was in an ad for like Squarespace.
At least her face was in it.
Sure.
Adam Scott just used his voice.
Sure. Donald Glover does like AT&T commercials. And you because it's like that's what really starts to bum you out is like these people who like in your mind you're like, well, they must be set. Like they definitely they don't need to do any of this stuff, and they're doing that stuff, and you're like,
My parents live in LA right now.
yeah.
And they live in this like community of apartments, and it's not older people, but anyway, there's this actor who lives there.
Okay.
And he's been on a bunch of shows. I can't remember his name. He's one of these people you'd recognize if you saw his face, but I can't remember his name.
He's that guy.
And he was in a play that was a musical play in LA.
Okay.
And I guess their friends went and said it was the worst play of all time. And Kristen Bell was in it. I'm like, how does she have the time to do a shitty play And then I saw her in a commercial too. I'm like, she's doing everything.
Yeah, that's what happens.
I guess she's got to support Dax. I guess his podcast as well, but
There's certain celebrities that I kind of try not to know about. I feel like Dax Shepard is definitely one of them. I don't need to know what's going on over there. That's none of my business.
I know.
But shout out to everybody who's over there. But
yeah,
my hands off that. I'm not touching that steering wheel.
Yeah, everything I know about their relationship has been against my will. But.
Exactly. That's like what's her name? The Blake Lively whole like lawsuit situation. I've like done my absolute best to know as little as possible about it. And I've done a pretty good job. Anytime anything about that comes up, I swipe, I close out of the tab, I stop listening. And so I've really managed to avoid pretty much all of that information because it's just none of my business. When white people got issues like that, I'm like, hands off. Now this Charlie Kirk, Candace Owens situation, I'll be looking into that. I'm curious about what's happening over there.
It's just so crazy.
Yeah.
But if it's true, so insane. Like every conspiracy that's come out in the past 3 months, or not conspiracy, but all the information about Epstein and all these people.
Yeah.
I'm like, is the Earth flat?
No.
I'm
of all the ones for them to get you on.
I'm just saying,
I read a lot of stuff about the Epstein Islands, and I was like, well, I ain't never seen the Earth from the outside, so how are we supposed to know that it curves?
That's exactly how I feel.
No.
We definitely didn't go to the moon.
Sure. Okay, I'll give everybody that one. That one doesn't mean anything to me. I don't really care about what's going on the moon. I don't even think we need to be out there. But the flat Earth, we can't go down the flat Earth path. We can't let them get us over there.
I know, it's just everything feels so fake and scary.
Do you think Chris Tucker was really? Do you think he went to the island? That's the main thing that I think about as it pertains to the Epstein stuff.
Okay, I'm gonna say something really stupid right now.
Can't wait.
Who is Chris Tucker?
Hanna.
Is that bad?
Yeah. Hanna, I'm gonna be honest with you. It's bad.
It's
really bad.
I don't know if he's a political figure or a singer. Who is Chris Tucker?
You think Chris Tucker's a political figure?
Who the fuck is Chris Tucker?
You ain't ever seen Rush Hour?
Oh, yes.
You ain't never seen Rush Hour or Rush Hour 2 or Rush Hour 3
yes.
or Money Talks with him and Charlie Sheen?
Actually, I don't think I've seen any of those movies, but I did see Rush Hour maybe as a child. Chris Tucker. He's the black guy in Rush Hour.
Yeah. Yeah, he's the black guy from Rush Hour. These are huge. You know about Chris Tucker? Yeah.
I'm just glad he's not like a U.S., representative that I should be aware of.
I would say this is worse. I would say this is worse because I think if you ask the average American to name like the representatives of their state, I think most of them wouldn't know who that is. But I bet you 9 out of 10 Americans would be like, oh yeah, I know that guy. He's from Rush Hour with Jackie Chan.
That's true. My biggest fear is being stopped on the street and being asked about the 3 branches of government and what they do.
That's your biggest fear?
That someone stops me on the street. There's a man on the street and is like, can you explain this policy? Can you explain this? How does this work? I bought an AP government book, AP US government book, so I could learn how our government works because I've been so ignorant my whole life.
How's it been going for you?
I mean, great until this presidency.
Well, sure, because in this presidency, it kind of feels like all the stuff that you're like, well, they have to do like X, Y, and Z. I feel like this administration's like, no, we don't.
Exactly.
And I'm like, I really didn't know you could bypass everything. I didn't know you could just do whatever you wanted.
I didn't either.
And it seems as though they could have been doing that, which really calls into question. You're like, all right, but like, what about all these other administrations who like couldn't they have pushed through some like good shit that we wanted to have happen? And they're like, nah, we can't do that. We can't. You guys want healthcare? That's out of our hands. There's no way we could figure that out. And Trump's just like, all right, we bombing tomorrow.
It's insane. So I'm trying to be a little more informed, which I guess is really bad to say that I wasn't before, and I apologize.
It's okay. I think the average listener of this podcast and the average American is really uninformed. And I feel like I learned how uninformed I am when I've like gone to other countries and they know more about what's happening in current events in my country than I know about my own.
The problem is now so much is happening.
It's tough to keep up.
It's tough to keep up.
Yeah.
And people are like, you need to speak out on this. You need to speak out on this. It's like, everything's happening. So wait, it's all bad.
Everything's happening, and I do think sometimes they're like, hey, comedians get, and I do think you should speak out about issues, like, especially if you're informed about them and you like, and people are listening to what you're saying. But I think oftentimes people are like, I didn't even know that was going on. And and certain things I think you're like, oh, if I did speak about that, I feel like I would come off kind of stupid because I actually don't know. I don't know enough about it to really talk about it. But now I feel like, now that I'm saying this, now I feel like I sound like Sydney Sweeney, and that's not really what I'm trying to do. Now I feel like I'm talking like Sydney Sweeney, and that's never been the type of person I'm trying to sound like. So I'll speak on some stuff soon.
But I think it's okay.
I'm going to start talking about things.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to start.
To be fair, I think if Sydney Sweeney said something, it probably wouldn't go over well either. Not that she should. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer, to be honest.
Sydney Sweeney, if you're listening, and we know that you are, start saying some stuff.
Yeah.
Just
start speaking out.
Just kind of anything. If anything, be Republican. Be Republican. I feel like she won't just. I'm just like, come out of the MAGA closet. We know you in there, baby. We know you in the MAGA closet. Go ahead and pop your head out.
Yeah.
Come on, Sid. You could do it. You could do it.
It's really tough to be a Republican in Hollywood.
Is it?
But people do it, I guess.
People absolutely do it. A lot of people do it, actually. They just kind of keep it. They keep it close to the vest. And also, like, people, especially in our industry, they care so much more about like bankability and like who can make the money than they care about like actual like the principles. So it's like Sydney Sweeney's popping on a level where it's like it wouldn't hurt her. It wouldn't hurt her. She just was in that big movie. Did you watch that? Did you watch The Housemaid? I
didn't. I heard it was terrible.
It's very silly. It's a very silly film. I will say it's a very bad movie, but like Amanda Seyfried. I've never known how to
Seyfried, I think.
Seyfried, pop in. Incredible actress.
She is great.
She's really, really awesome. So
I like that guy in it.
Yeah, he's like I don't really know which guy that is. I feel like there's a lot of guys who more or less look like that, but he is like a classic like white hot guy. He really is. And in that movie, he never has a shirt on. He's always wearing like a wife beater, and he's just like muscled, like he's jacked. So if you like that kind of thing, tune in.
Yeah, he's hot. I think he's hotter than Glenn Powell. I think Glenn Powell is so overrated.
Here's what I'll say about Glenn Powell. He was really nice to me one time, and so I'll never say a negative word about him. I've no bad things to say about Glenn Powell. And that's kind of how I am. If you're nice to me and I meet you, on the first time that I meet you, if you're nice to me, you can do no wrong. Glenn Powell also is from, like, we're from the same part of Texas. Like, our high schools were, like, rival high schools. So I feel like he's, like, a hometown boy made good. So I ride for Glenn Powell.
Okay. He's
the sexiest man in the industry.
I feel like he's one of those guys.
Ain't nobody sexier than Glenn Powell. Go ahead.
I mean, he is very hot, but I feel like he's one of those guys that's, like, so nice to everyone.
He is.
But then a monster secretly.
Interesting. If that's the truth, we'll find out in, like, 2 years.
In 2 years. But I mean, like, he, like, I feel like maybe I project on him. He reminds me of a guy who'd be like, oh, you're so great. Like, you know, set you up.
Sure.
This is what's happening. And then ghost and gaslight you and be like, what are you talking about? He just has that energy to me.
Interesting.
So it's really nothing he's done or said. It's just his jawline that's really...
Sure. And I feel like maybe no one's more qualified to speak on this. Because there's a world in which if Glenn Powell's not an artist, he got the Patagonia vest on. Mm-hmm. In which case, I feel like there's a world in which y'all could have come across each other. And I feel like you might have known some guys who have Glenn Powell
face.
Facial structures. And you've got a database and you're like, I know what this life looks like. I can't do that.
Yeah, like he got a small dog. Mm-hmm. And it just feels very performative to me.
I get it with the small dog thing. I understand what you're saying. It's kind of like when a girl's like, I love trucks. You're like...
Yeah, it's like...
They're like, that's enough. Who are you doing this for? Stop it.
That's how I feel with sports too. When girls are like, "Oh my God, do you want to go watch hockey?" It's like, neither do you.
Have you ever performatively watched sports to like appeal to someone?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I dated a guy for 3 months, and he was really into baseball.
Yeah.
So I went to the World Series just so I could send him a picture.
What?
Yeah.
Wait a second.
I got a free ticket.
I see. Okay, that's what I had to dig into, because I was like, if you bought a World Series ticket and
No.
you didn't even go with that, then you didn't even go with the man that you were trying to
No,
impress.
because we were seeing each other for a few months, and he lived in LA, I lived here. So we were
Okay.
seeing each other, it was like back and forth, and it was Yankees versus Dodgers.
I went to that too.
Oh,
Yeah, I was there.
well, I didn't see you.
Next World Series, we'll coordinate it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And my friend had a ticket, and honestly, if that guy didn't like baseball so much, I don't know if I would have gone.
Sure. That's like a cool one, though. That's not even just like a run-of-the-mill game. That's like
It is cool.
the Yankees were in the World Series. That's like actually kind of tight.
It was cool. I mean, the energy was great. It's cool to be at the World Series, but do I like watching baseball? Not really.
Not that much. Even in person, I feel like an in-person baseball game can be like I'll almost never watch baseball on television unless it's the playoffs, especially the World Series. But like I'll go to truly whatever baseball game. Like if I'm on the road and I'm like on tour and I'm in like San Diego and they have a day game on Saturday, I'll always go, just because I like being at baseball games.
I like chicken tenders.
Yeah, and they got those. They got those at pretty much every stadium.
Exactly.
You kind of can't go
And
wrong.
it comes in a bucket with fries. I do love that.
Do you take the bucket home?
No.
And that's where you and I differ.
I mean, my apartment's small.
Sure. The New York City of it all. Yeah.
And if I start taking things home, I'm already a hoarder with clothes, shoes. I don't need buckets from baseball games.
Fair enough. Hanna, I think it's time to get into some lyrics.
Okay, let's do it.
You brought us a couple of things, but you brought one song that I think is close to both of our hearts that I feel like we got to talk about. I'm going to let you introduce it to the people. I've highlighted it here on the laptop. Go ahead and give the name of the song and the artist, and then whatever lyrics you'd like to get into.
Okay. The song is Rack City by Tyga.
Incredible.
Should I try to sing it?
Whatever feels right to you. Speak from the heart.
This is so white.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to say that, but they can't, with woke, you can't say stuff like that anymore.
I don't know if I should try to be like, I need my money pronto. I sound like a cheerleader.
Say it in the way, because Hanna also told me she listens to Rack City every single day.
Yeah, I do.
And I would like you to say it in whatever way you would say it if in your apartment if you were alone in the morning.
Well, I mostly sing along to Rack City, bitch, Rack City, bitch. It just gets you so pumped.
Okay, keep going. Ride that energy into the lyrics.
I need my money pronto. Getting in the morning like Alonzo. Rondo. Green got cheese like a nacho. If you ain't got no ass, bitch, wear a poncho.
Woo!
Head honcho. Got my seat back. Staring at me, don't get bapped.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll stop there.
Okay. Yeah. Well, tell me about your relationship with Rack City. Where did this start, and how do we land here?
Well, I listened to it in college a lot.
Okay.
And when I say I listen to it every day, I've listened to it every day since I went to Miami in December.
Okay. So it's a recent.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for like 3 months, I've been listening to it every day because I went to Miami with my friend and we were getting ready. And you know when you're like, what song is going to get us to go out?
Uh-huh.
How can we pump ourselves up? Especially because I don't drink alcohol anymore.
Yes.
So I need music to really fuel me.
It has to get you going.
Exactly.
And I'm surprised because it's like I'm drinking less now, and there's been stretches where I've taken like a couple weeks or a month off. I never really want to be in any type of dance or club environment. So the fact that you're sober from drinking now and you still go to the club, I'm like, you're a stronger person than me.
Well, I've been sober for 5 years almost.
I remember, yeah.
So it wasn't like that 2 years in.
I see.
But then the streets start calling.
Yeah. And you gotta go where the vest is at. You said where the vest
I'm
gonna
not
be
gonna
at.
meet my husband in my apartment,
No.
so I gotta go to Miami. And tear that ass up.
Yeah, go ahead and get to it.
So we were tired one night and we put on Rack City and it just hit.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's great. The opening chorus, boom, doom, doom, and then the hey, 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 and the claps come in. It's a beautiful moment.
It's just a fun song.
Yeah.
I like Tyga as a. I like all of his music. Not all of it, but I like a lot of his music.
And you might be one of the first people to say that.
I know.
Definitely on this podcast you are. I guarantee you're one of the first people to say it.
I like his music. I think he's a very talented artist.
Are there any other Tyga songs that really resonate with you?
I'm trying to think, because I've been listening to him just like but I can't think of like the titles. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you. But are you interested in Tyga as like an entity? Like as a person, as a celebrity, are you interested in Tyga?
Not really. Like I don't care who he dates.
Okay.
I was into when he was dating Kylie Jenner.
I remember. Yeah.
But other than that, I don't really care.
It doesn't do it for you?
No.
What about this song really, really connects? Or what about the lyrics really connects with you?
The lyric about if you ain't got an ass, wear a poncho.
Yeah.
Every time I look in the mirror, I'm like, I need to buy a fucking poncho. If you ain't got no ass, bitch, wear a poncho. Yeah, ponchos are kind of in right now.
Yeah.
And I've been thinking about getting one. And then I hear this song, I'm like, I need a fucking poncho. I have no ass.
That's incredible. It's incredible that Tyga really reached you on that level where he's making you make clothing decisions.
And every celebrity I've seen who's been sporting ponchos, I always look at their ass, and they're always a flat ass.
Assless, sure, because it's like, because if you got ass back there, if you really got cake, you're gonna let people see it.
Exactly.
That's not gonna be a mystery.
You're not gonna wear a cape.
No. You're not gonna hide the assets. You know what I'm saying? Just like if you're a big titty lady, it's like the shirt's open. Mm-hmm. You're gonna let people know that that's what you got going on. So poncho makers, if y'all listening, Hannah's in the market.
I think they're in right now. But I also just these lyrics are I need my money pronto, get in the morning like Alonzo. Who the fuck is Alonzo? Should we know?
Alonzo Mourning, he's a basketball player.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. I thought it was right. It sounds like a drunk person putting together a poem.
Yeah, which probably is exactly what was happening as he was putting the song together.
This might be an ignorant thing to say.
Can't wait.
Another ignorant thing to say, I
Cannot
guess.
wait.
Do rappers write lyrics or is it all improv?
I think one, I will answer your question. I'll answer your question in a second, but I will say, like, you did ask that exactly the way that my mother would have. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could have been back in Virginia with my mom, and I feel like she would have. And my mom listens to this podcast, and she'll be either very charmed or mad about the fact that I'm saying this about her right now. But she would ask me that exact question. She'd be like, so Dev, don't make fun of me. But like with the rappers, is it like, do they like just think of it on the spot, or like do they put it in a journal? Like that's very Denise of you. But yeah, I think it actually depends on the rapper. I think certain rappers are very like, certain rappers really can't freestyle. Certain rappers really like have to be off book. Like Drake early in his career, there was a very famous video of him being on like, I want to say it was like Funkmaster Flex or like one of those like rap radio shows. And he has a BlackBerry out and he's trying to find the right song to rap in the BlackBerry in a moment where he's supposed to be like coming up with the rhymes off the top of his head, and he like can't do it. So some people are like that. Some people have to write it down. Other people like Jay-Z famously never wrote anything down. That was like a known thing about Jay-Z is like all his shit just like lives in his head.
I guess that's like comedy.
Kind of. Yeah.
People who are like, I write on stage. I'm like, you don't go up there with a plan?
I feel like, because I'm kind of a write on stage person, but I'm also like, I write all the ideas out originally. Like I'll type them out on my phone. And then I feel like I'll find where the laughs are and kind of pivot from there, like in the moment. And sometimes like I think I know where the laugh is and I find it somewhere else just off of like whatever feels right to say, like in that second. What are you? You're like, you write it all out?
I write it all out. But I also think it's a confidence thing. Because I'm so scared of bombing and not being able to transition to something else.
Sure. Are you still afraid of bombing though? Because I feel like once you get a certain number of bombs in, you're just like to me, I'm like a bomb is inevitable. Like it's coming at some point. It's just a matter of when.
When I didn't have a job for 2 years and
Yeah.
I was really depressed, every time I went on stage, I felt like my comedy didn't move forward at all because I couldn't bomb because it felt like
It's like
stand-up was all I had. So
Yeah.
if I bombed, it felt like I was bad at that too, and I couldn't get a job and I had no money. Like it just felt like I was not in the headspace to bomb. But now that I have a job and I have things going on, it feels less. So I'm less afraid of bombing
I know exactly what you mean.
because I feel good about myself.
Yeah.
But it's just more of a confidence thing. So I still like to write things down. I still like to write, but I'm less rigid about it.
Fair enough.
And I'll try something on stage. But it does suck when you think something's so funny and it just nothing.
And I'm not gonna lie to you, that happens to me regularly.
It's so annoying.
Especially, but I guess that's just the game. But like with new ideas, I feel like I sound like arrogant when I say this, but like truly, every single new joke idea that I write down, I think is awesome.
Me too.
Every new joke idea I write down, I'm like, this is a fucking banger. I'm about to kill him with this. And sometimes that's true. Sometimes it really is a new banger, but I would say probably about half that other time, I come out and I'm like, huh. And they're like, no. They're like, please don't say that kind of thing anymore. I don't want you to do that ever again.
I know.
That happens to me more often than I'd like.
That's how I feel. I'm like, I don't think you guys get it. And they don't.
And sometimes they never do. Or you have that thing, which is legitimately, I think, even worse than a joke not working, which is the first time you ever do it.
It kills.
It crushes. And then it never, ever does again. And it's like doing like how people describe like doing meth.
No, I was just about to say.
You're chasing that high. You're like, I got it that one time. I could get it again. And everybody's like, like whatever. You're not going to find that magic again, but...
And then I'm like, where's the clip? I can post it. It's the only one I can post because it's the only time it did well.
it ever connected. Yeah.
So that's back to these lyrics.
Yes.
I'm like, did he write down who's Rondo?
Rajon Rondo, also a basketball player.
Okay. Green. Who's Green? What's Green? Rondo Green got cheese like a nacho. What is that?
Well, I think what he's probably referring to is during that time, Rajon Rondo was the point guard for the Boston Celtics, and they wear green.
Okay, so this actually makes a lot more sense now that we're talking it out. It's not that crazy. I thought he was just saying names to rhyme.
Oh, sure. If you don't know who the basketball player Rajon Rondo is,
or Alonzo,
or Morning Alonzo, like you are just like, what the fuck is he on about?
I
do hear it.
I thought it was like, okay, he started with, I need my money pronto, get it in the morning, and then he's like, Alonzo. Oh, Alonzo Rondo.
I mean, I do think he kind of was doing that, but I think it was a little slightly more connected than it probably felt to you. Him saying that, because the way you're saying it does sound really funny. If he was just like, I get it in the morning. Oh, there go Alonzo. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
and he's
exactly.
In the moment, he's just piecing together.
But this is like boy poetry.
Yeah, I do think it is. I think that's a lot of rap, actually, is boy poetry.
I'm a lot more impressed by these lyrics now.
Interesting. I mean, I feel like basketball player references and rap really, they're married to each other. Like that's a union that I think will never break. And the amount of like hoopers.
You think it's because a lot of them share kids?
Possibly, or at least like mothers of their children.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I do think there's definitely a crossover there. There's definitely a type of woman who, who crosses over between those two.
I'm always impressed by those women.
Why? Like
women who date basketball stars and then make a name for themselves that way and then go on to date rappers or another sports star. It's incredible to watch. I can't get one boyfriend, and you're getting all these millionaire,
these prominent men.
Exactly.
But I think that's just like, you just got to dream bigger. You know what I'm saying? You're telling yourself you can't do it, but like, I see it for you.
I think I have too many pussy jokes on the internet at this point.
But I feel like there's a type of guy who likes that. Remember, like, wasn't it Jenny Slate was dating like some guy, Chris, one of the Hemsworths or something like that?
Yes.
You could live like that.
Perhaps.
You could live like, I see it for you, even if you don't see it for yourself.
I think I need to get more successful because I think the more successful you get, the less it matters what you're saying.
Sure.
Because so many people like it, so it's like,
Yeah.
oh,
People are into this, so I can get into that as well.
yeah, like Katy Perry dating Justin Trudeau. It's like she's running around in assless chaps and nipple tassels.
Yeah.
And he's out there clapping his hands because she's doing it in an arena.
They feel right for each other, though.
You think?
I do think they feel right for each other. I think they both feel like of a time. They were both people who were public figures who made a lot of sense in 2014. And now in 2026, you're like, well, it's silly that we were ever that into it. Because Justin Trudeau, people was fucking with Trudeau for a minute. Till them blackface videos came out. You know what I'm saying? Till them blackface Halloween costumes came out. I feel like we were really rocking with Trudeau. He was kind of like Canada's Obama. They were really fucking with what he had going on. Then people saw him, painted up to look like Bernie Mac or whatever he had going on. And everybody was like, maybe that's not our guy. And I feel like with Katy Perry, very similar situation. We were all picking up what Katy Perry was putting down. We was all like, oh, I feel like a plastic bag flying through the wind. We was saying stuff like that. We was identifying with her. And then a certain point in time hit and we were like, well, you can't be an astronaut. You can't be an astronaut, Katy. Don't be going up in space. We saw too many silly moments from her, just like we did with him. And now they're in a different section with the way we think about him.
That's a really good point.
Thank you.
I think, too, before Katy Perry was famous at a time where the industry made you famous. I think Katy Perry is talented and has good music, or, has some hit songs, but...
Absolutely. Shout out to Teenage Dream, my favorite Katy Perry song. Incredible song.
It felt like she was an artist that was pushed onto us as opposed to we chose.
Yeah, that's how the game used to work.
Yeah.
The game used to kind of be like, all right, the industry's going to tell you, these are the next people. It's a very similar thing with comedy, I feel like.
It was all entertainment.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I feel like it was everything.
I think acting, it's still that, but...
yeah, because there's not so much of a pipeline of I really like
social
this guy's,
media to acting.
Acting. He's really good at dramatic acting on TikTok or whatever. Anyway, you brought us some more lyrics. You brought us a couple more songs. I'm gonna let you. There's two more. I'm gonna let you take us wherever it feels right to you.
Okay. The other song I brought. Do you know Tovlo?
Yeah.
Is it Tuvelu or Tovlo?
I've always thought it was Tovlo, but I don't think I'm the right person to ask about this.
Okay. I love her. I don't know how to pronounce her name, but I love her. She's the best concert I've ever been to.
Oh wow.
I saw her at the Brooklyn Steel.
Okay.
Apparently, she broke her foot halfway through.
Oh, shit.
And performed the rest of the concert because she posted afterwards, so much adrenaline, didn't even realize I broke my foot. Whoa. She was dancing the entire time. Titties out.
I'm listening. All of a sudden, I'm looking up that footage.
And I just love her music because it's so direct, like these lyrics. It's a song called Glad He's Gone. And it's like, he's gone. He's gone. Better off now that he's gone. And then it's like, she's asking her friend. So basically the song's about her friend is upset about a guy.
Yeah.
And she's like, what did I do wrong? And then Tovlo's trying to make her feel better by saying, did you go down on his birthday? Yep. Did you let him leave a necklace? Yep. Did you show him all your crazy? No. Did you blow him on the weekends? Yep. And it's like, it's just so it's like you did everything right. There's nothing you can do.
You did those four things.
Yeah.
There's no way your relationship could be off the rails. You did that stuff.
Yeah, and that's like her checklist. And it's just such a funny... If my friend was like, well, did you go down on his birthday? Did you let him come on your neck?
Did
you suck his dick on his birthday?
It's also the idea of birthday blowjobs to me never really none of that shit ever really added up to me because I'm just like, what are y'all not? Is that just not a normal part of the whole situation? I feel like this. I don't know. I feel like there's all. I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel like the people who are saying stuff like that, it's always like white suburban girls that I know. Who are like, oh, he got a blowjob because it was his birthday. I'm like, well, what if I was like, oh, I'm only eating your pussy on Christmas. It's like, well, then this is a bad relationship then. You should be different towards me. I don't think you really love me if that's the way you're treating me. If I'm only getting top on my birthday, then something's broken here.
Yeah, I dated a guy for 3 months who, in the beginning, told me he loved eating pussy. Sorry, is that too vulgar? And
you
then
can say anything on here.
Never
We're not
went
even
down
on a
on me
network.
once.
Really? How's that possible?
I don't know. He was not.
He doesn't seem awesome.
Yeah, he wasn't great. But it was just, it's a weird thing to set up and then never do.
Fair. That is, that feels like diabolical in a way, where it feels like he just like knows that women want to hear that. So he's like saying it to like help him like gain some ground. And then as soon as like he's in that situation, he's like, well, I don't really mean it.
Yeah.
It's like, he's like, you want me to do what? You want to put my mouth where? No, thanks.
Yeah. And I should have, now I'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, of course.
But I was in my 20s, so.
You put up with a little bit more.
Yeah, so he never did, and I never said anything. Well, I
You probably said a couple things.
I said a couple things,
Yeah.
but then he would just be like, well, you're disgusting. And I'd be
What? Wait, I mean.
and I was like, you're right.
We didn't get into this. We never really got into this, but I will say, like, Hannah and I used to work together at Comedy Central during the pandemic. You worked there for years. I worked there for just like 20. I worked there for like 9 months ultimately.
I worked there for the longest, and I think I'm the only person who left that job and couldn't get another job. Like, I worked there for 5 years. I felt like I had some hits on the,
Yeah, you had a Snapchat show?
and I couldn't get any work after at all. I still can't really. I couldn't get an agent. Everyone else moved on. Jordan's
doing really
he's
well
writing for
himself.
Dave. Everyone's like killing it, and I'm like, yeah. Anyway, that's a tangent. Sorry, but
Yeah, Hannah and I worked on there was a time where Comedy Central had like this program called the Creators program.
it was supposed to be a digital SNL, and
Is that what they were trying to make it?
that's what they said.
They did a bad job at that. It really wasn't that, even a little bit. But it was like a place where they like hired some comedians and like you got to work in the office. Mine was only ever virtual, like on Zoom, but like you would like go make sketches and there was little like game show things that they would do. And like when Snapchat was popping, I feel like you made a whole Snapchat show.
I did.
Yeah. And I only was there from I got the job in like March of 2020, and I told my temp job that I had at the time, I was like, hey, can I put in my 2 weeks? Because I just got hired at this other job. And the temp company was like, oh my God, thank you so much for giving us your 2 weeks. A lot of times people just like stop showing up. So we really appreciate you. All good. And I was like, yes. Later on in that same day, the temp office calls me back and it's just like, yeah, so we talked to the company you were working at. They said they'd like today to be your last day. Go ahead and send us back your laptop at your earliest convenience. And then like 1 day later, the pandemic started and like the whole city shut down. So that was the way that, and then I had 2 weeks where I just had to like make my money stretch. And that's how I began at Comedy Central.
Were you so bad at your temp job?
Yeah, I was terrible at it.
Okay.
I was terrible at it. I would argue that I've never been good really at any job other than like comedic stuff. I'm not really like a good employee because like I do think an issue that I've generally had with like everything outside of comedy is I'm just like, well, this doesn't matter. Like this isn't what I'm gonna like do with my life. So like I'm not gonna bust my ass doing this thing.
I think I do the opposite where I want the company, whatever company I'm at, to like me so much. So I invest too much and I don't think bigger or long term. Mm-hmm. So then I am where I am now.
So then they love you at a place that like, well, but also like we worked at Comedy Central, which like at the time, we probably worked at Comedy Central at the last time where that was like a cool thing to do. And that the last time when it was like a job that even could exist.
No, I did like that job. No shade to that job, but it wasn't a.
Well, we were working in a ship that was burning down.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing is like you worked way harder at Comedy Central than I did. But also in that moment I was like I don't think this place is going to be around. And thank you. Shout out to everybody. I mean, literally nobody that we worked with works at Comedy Central anymore. I don't know if anybody works at Comedy Central anymore.
I don't think so.
Seems as though it's barely even a network.
I know. Now when I do shows and people are like, Comedy Central is your credit, I'm like, I don't know if people are going to know what that is.
Nobody. Do you have any affiliation with Comedy Central? Do you know about Comedy Central as a 25-year-old? You know about this. Okay.
But it feels like when people get brought up to Letterman, you're like,
yeah, totally.
Okay, like you haven't done anything since Letterman?
Yeah, there was a guy in my scene that I came up in who was like a OG like Austin comic, and he had done Letterman in like 2002. And I remember in like 2015, all of us kind of being like, I bet you that seems tight 13 years ago for sure, but you gotta update it. Comedy Central as a credit used to even if it was like you were in like a digital sketch, people were like, oh shit, he did something on Comedy Central. And now you're right, it doesn't feel like it has the same.
No, when I worked
gravitas.
before the pandemic, I started to book headlining things because I had the Comedy Central credit.
Yeah.
And then the pandemic happened and everything changed, and then trying to headline on the road?
It's tough.
It's impossible.
It's tough. But I am about to go on tour. If you guys are listening to this, please go check me out. I gotta sell these goddamn tickets.
It's tough.
Anyway, Hannah, before we get out of here, we got a listener voicemail.
Okay.
Let's check in with it.
Hey, Devon. Hey, guest. My name's Gabby, and I'm calling because I have some lyrics that I've always been confused by. They're from the song Magic by B.O.B. I'm sure you remember it.
Yeah, I
What
do.
we have not been talking about, though, for years since it came out was, why are girls snapping at him? The girls come snapping at me. Everybody wants a blast of magic. And then later in the song, he goes, they be snapping, baby. What does that mean? All right. That's all I have to say. Oh, there is one more line that I think was weird. And he talks about calling his mama when he has time. Mm-hmm. So that was weird. All right. Bye.
I think every man should call his mom when he has time.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the most. That's so regular. It's almost a boring line.
You should actually call your mom even when you don't have time.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's if nothing else, your dad, you get around to him at any point, but like your mother, you should try to call. Pretty regularly. I'll probably talk to my mom like once a week, maybe every other week.
I talk to my mom every single day.
What?
I talk to my parents every single day.
Both of them?
Yeah.
About what?
Anything.
Anyway, to go back to the lyrics that this woman is talking about, he's talking about all the women are snapping at him.
What's the other B.O.B. song?
Airplanes?
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking.
Pretend that airplanes in the night skies like shooting stars.
What happened to B.O.B.?
What's so funny? I literally was just reading this today. I read this column about like number one hit songs, and it had what was the B.O.B. song? Oh, Nothing on You, with him and Bruno Mars, and it was talking about how B.O.B. was supposed to be like the next guy. Like there was a time where like when we had Rufat on there, if y'all want to go back and listen to the Rufat episode, there was a time where B.O.B. was like the next big thing in music. And then you know what got him to bring this all full circle to what we've been talking about? He started talking about flat earth a lot. B.O.B.'s a big flat earther, and he briefly had a beef with Neil deGrasse Tyson because Neil deGrasse Tyson was like, hey dog, the earth not flat. And B.O.B. was like, fuck you. Don't say that type of stuff to me.
So he got on drugs. I feel like anyone with weird conspiracies are on drugs.
Most likely, but I don't want to put that on B.O.B. I don't know his life, but
okay, fair.
But yeah, I don't think I wouldn't be shocked. Also, to the listener, I feel like I want to point out, she's like, yeah, B.O.B. saying the girls come snapping at him. He don't actually say that. That's not B.O.B. who's saying that. That's Rivers Cuomo, who was he's from Weezer. That's a guy from Weezer talking about that. So don't put that on B.O.B. He didn't say that. And I think I get it. The girls are, I mean, that does feel silly to be like the girls are snapping at me because it feels like you on some West Side Story shit and the Jets and the Sharks are like coming after you, which I feel like that was not the case. But overall, I understand the girls they're on him. They're after him. I I get it. I don't take objection to this.
I think of when a girl is snapping at me,
Yeah.
she's screaming at me. Like, she snapped at me.
Yeah. Oh, like she snapped.
Yeah.
Like she really, like she really popping off. Like I just stepped on her shoe and she not gonna let that slide.
Exactly.
Yeah, she fucking snapped. Also, there's that show Snapped, right? Where like women like murder their boyfriends or whatever. Interesting. That's a whole other read on this song, which is that I got a certain type of magic where girls are always snapping at me. Maybe it's because like he's like, I don't know what it is about me, but I keep attracting these women who are like freaking out. They keep coming at me with a knife. I don't feel like I'd be doing knife-worthy behaviors.
Oh, he's one of those where he dates crazy girls.
Totally.
I dated a guy like that. He was like, yeah, all my exes are crazy. And then he pulled some shit, and I was like, I wonder how they got there.
Truly, you like, especially as a man, I feel like sometimes you'll have like a homie who will be like saying stuff like that, and then you'll like bump into his ex or you'll like be friends with him, and she'll be like, yeah, he told me and like 5 different girls he loved us at the same time, and then like pretended like he didn't say it, and you'll be like, now contextually, like I see. He really the bad guy in this whole situation. That was in whatchamacallit. What movie was that? That was in 40-Year-Old Virgin, where like Paul Rudd was really hung up on this girl, and then they bump into the girl, and she's like, yeah, I've been trying to break off contact with him for a long time. I changed my email and my phone number, and he keeps finding it. Like, I really want him to stop contacting me. And then all the guys were like, okay, so it's maybe a little different than he's been portraying it. You got to watch out for that. I feel like when you're in your 20s, that type of shit do be fooling you. And then I feel like when you hit your 30s and you start to hear your boy talk over and over and over about certain situations, you'd be like...
And I used to be one of the people who'd snap.
You was snapping?
I was snapping.
How did snapping look for you? In what type of ways was you snapping?
I can be mean. I can be really mean. So if, you make me feel a certain way.
Yeah.
This used to happen, but now I'm like, oh, a lot of guys do this, and then they go off and say the girl's crazy.
Uh-huh.
So...
But it sounds as though you've done 1 or 2 crazy things.
I would say there are 3 men out there.
Uh-huh.
4. 4.
Okay.
5. No, 4. That
Numbers getting bigger.
If they all randomly were in a room together and my name came up, they could exchange similar stories. Uh-huh. But then once I snapped so hard at a guy that I felt like I was so embarrassed.
Yeah.
That now I don't.
Sometimes you got to look in the mirror and say, this ain't the lifestyle for me.
No.
Sometimes you got to look in the mirror and say, it's time
to... You send a manifesto and you're like, it wasn't a threat, but it was threatening. You know what I'm saying? If it takes longer to read the text that I sent than the time we spent together,
Sure.
I'm the crazy one.
Sure.
Anyway, my point is,
Can you give us a peek into what was in the manifesto at all? Can you give us just like a little drop of what kind of stuff was happening there?
It's dark.
Okay. Seems like we can't get into it.
I feel like this is a comedy podcast,
Seems like
honestly.
we can't get into it.
I'm like trying to find like a funny thing I said that would be like kind of...
And as it turns out, there's not a lot of comedy in this one, apparently.
Yeah, that one I was taking a lot of Adderall, actually.
Sure. So you were revved up.
I was revved up. I was
Yeah.
really addicted to Adderall. And then I freaked out on this guy so hard. I woke up the next day, read the text message, and flushed 100 10-milligram pills of Adderall down the toilet, and I stopped taking it. And I haven't snapped at a guy since, actually.
Okay. So it was actually kind of a turning point. No Charlie Kirk, but it was a turning point.
It was a turning point. So maybe these girls are on Adderall, snapping.
Maybe that's what it is. I will say, yeah. There's only a couple times in my life where I'd be like, that woman was actually genuinely being crazy, and sometimes pills got something to do with it.
But have you ever been kind of mean to a girl? Not kind of. Have you ever done something to a girl where she got pissed and you're like, I get why she's pissed?
1,000%. Yes. Absolutely.
Okay.
I've made mistakes in my life. So it's like, yeah, like there's been certainly times in my life where women have been very angry with me. And in the moment and in hindsight, I'm like, fair. Totally fair. I should not have gone about it that way at all. And that's life. sometimes you got to grow and you got to learn. You got to flush some pills down the toilet.
Well, because that's how I felt when I snapped. It was almost like I realized like, oh, this isn't going to like change his
situation.
mind or like change how he behaves in the future.
And I feel like that's, like I said, that's the type of stuff that I feel like you don't know sometimes when you're 23 and then you're 29, you're 30, you're like, you're like that. Okay, these behaviors that like always seems like the right answer, as it turns out,
not the right answer.
That's not gonna get me where I need to go.
But it's a bummer.
Yeah, it's a bummer when you got to learn and grow and become better.
Especially because I'm such a petty bitch.
Yeah.
And I can be mean and like say things that are mean and they're like bully. You know, like they're kind of funny, but like they're mean.
Yeah, of course.
So
I feel like that's a comedian thing. I feel like all of us, like in our hearts, like kind of want to. We kind of want to shit on somebody. It feels very natural for us to shit on people,
especially if they do you dirty.
Of course,
you want the last word, and you want them to feel bad.
Yeah, I can't do it with women as much because I feel like it like takes on a different tone. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I feel like a woman to a man, like you could kind of let that slide. But I feel like if I'm like pointing out some of a woman's worst qualities, I feel like then it's.
Well, it depends on the treatment. So if I think if I'm not just shitting on, well, actually I did shit. I'm like, I'm not just shitting on a guy randomly, but I did recently and I didn't mean to. Have you ever like started kind of shitting on someone and then been like, oh, this is like kind of rude. Oops.
There's been times, especially when I've been drunk, where I think I thought I was just being fun and funny, and then like later on in that night or the next day, people be like, yeah, you were really like going in on that guy. And I'll be like, oh, really? I thought we were just like having a good time. And they were like, nah, like, I think you hurt his feelings. I'm like, okay, that's
my bad.
That's on me. That's on me. I thought everybody was just playing. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. I know this guy had like high top YSL shoes with charms on it.
He needs to be teased.
And they were in his apartment. I go, you wear these? And he was like, yeah, I wear them, special occasions. And I'm like, hopefully they're not that special. and never heard from him again.
Yeah, how could you? But also, you don't want to.
I can't date a guy who has high top YSLs with charms.
I don't think you should. I don't think anybody should have those at all.
It's just.
I also can't. I got a whole other rant about like luxury sneakers. They really piss me off. But that's
Anyway, sorry.
It's a conversation for another time.
I'm really off topic here.
Hanna, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Do you have anything you'd like to plug before we get out of here?
When does this come out?
I don't know. Probably in like a month.
No. I got nothing. I have
Do you have anything you want to plug just in case it comes out sooner?
No, I have shows I'm going on the road for the first time next week, but
go see Hanna. Anytime you see Hanna pop up with a date, go see her, go follow her online.
Please.
At any place where you can follow people online. And also if you see Hanna, be nice to her.
Please.
Be nice to Hanna. Life's already hard enough. Don't add nothing extra on top of it.
I'm very sensitive.
She's a good person and she's a sensitive person. And also if you're a leader of a cult, you might be able to snatch her.
Yeah, hit me up.
Hanna, thanks so much for being here again.
Thanks for having me.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
My Favorite Lyrics is a production by Disco Nap. If you guys like what you hear, leave a review and tell a homie about the show. And make sure to follow us at My Favorite Lyrics Pod on all social platforms, except for Twitter. We offer that. You can learn more about this week's guest and the My Favorite Lyrics team by checking out the show's notes. And thank you to the guys that made this show happen. Executive producer, Lauren Mandel. Producer, Carmen Carigan. Our editor, Nicole Lyons. Fringe Podcasts, who engineered this episode. And yeah, that's all the people that I'm going to thank for now.